And I said, well, it started off ever so small and it fitted through that gap, and you stick it on there, you've got some special liquid and you have to stand there for half an hour. I originated in a village called Newton in Cambridge, and I got involved with the glass side because the managing director of the company in Cambridge used to go into my parents' shop, and when I come to leave school, he offered me a job as an apprenticed scientific glassblower. I was interested in art and that type of industry or something to do with art, and I found this was one of the main parts of it, especially after doing the scientific training for 5 years. We then broke out into doing small animals. I mean, that was one of my very first sausage dog, and then we progressed to hedgehogs, mice, owls, sharks, and then putting them into bottles. Done some swans as well. So yeah, you name it, we tried it. Loads of these went to America, pig and a pig, which were all really sidelines to the main factory. The company where I worked sold the branch in Cambridge, and the main managing director moved to Southampton to the other branch and his other partner, and invited me along to run or be a foreman type manager of the scientific side. But by the time I got down here, he'd already gone into making boats in bottles. So we then carried on that, and then in the finish, Jack Green was his name, we moved over to Lymington and set up Lymington Glass Mystiques. All the little nitty gritty bits are very, very similar to doing scientific anyway. So you have large vessels with a boat, or you blow the flask up. So it's all the same sort of thing really, but just putting a boat in it rather than heating elements or something like that, or coils. So yeah, it was reasonably easy transfer, but I was that artistic type flair to do it. Yeah, there's a certain amount of knowledge you would need to produce. Not only that, the artistic flair has got to be there for size and lengths and body size. Basic knowledge to make something like that compared with something like that is a big, big difference. Because this has to be done in sections. Each part is an individual, and then you put it on to the main body and build it up. So if you didn't have the knowledge of the scientific side, you wouldn't know how far you could go before a piece cracked. Or they used to say, how did you get the boat in the bottle? And I said, well, it started off ever so small and it fitted through that gap, and you stick it on there, you've got some special liquid, and you have to stand there for half an hour and shake it, then it gradually right, if they cut the cells out of tubing, so that's like this size, and you cut it to the shape you're looking at, then each corner of that would have a little tag put on it. So we used to have young ladies or women that used to put the tags on. So you had a flat square with 4 tags on it. And then what you do then is have the mast pre-made. So you'd have like your 3 masts, your ladders, and then the glass blower would make the hull up, which is the main lump of glass in the middle. So you'd have that on 2 spindles each end, make it up. And then we would put that onto a flange base, which is similar to that one, but a little bit bigger, of course. So the boat then sat outside the flask. So then they would sit there, and then the girls would then bring those sails over and mount them onto the rigging with a little tiny hand lamp, take them all down, join them all up, and then we would then, once the boat was all completed, we would then blow this flask up so it fitted in that hole there. sitting on a flange, and you hold this in the lathe, put a holder in here, and then do your seal around there. Once the boat's in there, so then you hide the seal. Easy. This one, and you're opened up down the bottom end. So that's opened around here, but you have to have a real long holder which reaches up to the top one to do your seals. Those three around there, which holds your top boat in. And then once you've done that one, take your handle out, your holder, and then put the next one up, and they're sealed in there. Then once you've got that in, you then put the bottom one in and seal it around there. The scientific side comes in really, because we would be holding coils and heat exchangers and things like that. We'd have to make holders up to hold it in situ, to seal it in and then take them away. The young glass blowers of today don't seem to want to make any decorative type thing. They're either in decorative or they're not. They still do the odd animals and bits and pieces, but I don't think anybody wants to go out and actually do it full time. You used to see glass blowers sort of like on markets and things like that, but you don't see it anymore. But mainly a lot of it, I think, is health and safety. You can't take oxygen bottles, you can't have naked flames. So that's all holding back anybody attempting to manufacture or to go into it as an artist. You know, the last one I'd done, you had to put a screen in front of you just in case it. And then it gets to the point where you just think, well, you can't do it. I can remember sitting down in fates and just sort of sitting from closest me to you and making glass animals. You know, and if somebody over there said that's easy, you used to say, okay, you have a go and sit down and do it. But you'd never dare do that this day and age. I don't think they'll ever be without glass blowers, because there are certain things they cannot do without it being glass. But the trouble is with scientific glass blowing at the moment, a lot of the items we used to make was like diffusion pumps and traps and things like that. But the industry don't use them anymore. So it's just not being made anymore. We make reaction vessels and things like that now, but a lot of the intricate type scientific stuff is not there. It's not the wet chemistry like they used to be. So it's gradually coming away from that. That guy's Dick. That one's Bob. That's me over there. The young girl in front of me is Mandy. What was the other girl's name? Daniela. These are all the little. There's all these spears coming off here. That's all that rigging. And she's pulled it.